Hello, boys and girls. As we dive into chapter 2, Mrs. Morris would like to talk about story elements. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Story elements. Story elements are the different parts to a fictional story. Setting is an important story element, and it's the one that we're going to concentrate on in chapter 2. On April 1st, we walked along the never-ending paradise of soft sandy beaches. This is an example of a place where we might find setting information. So setting is the time and place of a story. If I look at the time in this line, I see that it points out that it's happening on the 1st of April. So that gives me the time. And then I will know about the location because it says beaches. I can also find story element setting information by looking at the pictures. Let's take a look at the second example. I finally reached land on a cold, rainy evening in April. Boys and girls, as I look at the picture, I can see that this guy is paddling and he's almost reached land. And it tells me at the top that he's reached land. And so I can come to the conclusion that the setting is on land. And in terms of time, it tells me that it's the evening. And it's in the month of April. Something else I'd like you to take note of is the adjectives that they use to describe it. They say it's cold and it's rainy. And indeed, when you look at the illustration, you can see those things as a part of the illustration, those characteristics as part of the illustration. Setting is the time and place of a story. So this is some ways that a story might talk about time. They could mention the season of winter or summer. Another way they could mention time is by talking about the past or the future, and the daytime and nighttime. And in terms of place, oftentimes when stories talk about place, they might mention the location of the beach or a forest or a school or a city. It can come about in many, many forms. And then another aspect I want you to pay close attention to is we can also use adjectives. Adjectives to make the reading more exciting. So an author might describe a setting by talking about something that would help you picture the setting a little better. For example, let's look at the picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. An adjective that could describe this setting would be foggy. And look at the picture of the forest. An adjective that might describe this setting is wet. And if we look down below at this cafe, an adjective that might describe the setting of the table is that it's empty. So you can find setting information from both the pictures as well as the text. And as we dive into chapter 2 of our Seasick book, I want you to take note of the setting. I want you to notice the time. In the words of the story, the author mentions that our canines have to plan a party tomorrow. They also make note of there's only 2 days till the party, which if you put all of that information together, you could come to a conclusion and decide how long it is that the story takes place, maybe even 2 days. And then in chapter 1, they talked about the name of the ship that they're on. And see if you can hear for them to name that again, the Salty Bone ship, that is. And in terms of location, not only do they name the ship, but they also tell you where the ship is. They tell you that the ship is out in sea. And when they do that, they use some adjectives to describe the sea. They say it's vast and blue. Okay, boys and girls, let's go ahead and dive into our book. Okay, friends, here we are, ready to start chapter 2 to find out what happens on that salty bone with our canine friends. Sneezy Wheezy, Captain Queasy. Oh, Captain Redbeard groaned. My head! My tongue, my paws, my nose, everything hurts. He sneezed, he wheezed, he whined, and he moaned. The captain was tucked into bed under a heavy green blanket. Curly, Wally, Henry, and the pugs crowded around him. "What can we do for you, Captain?" Curly asked. "How can we help you feel better?" Wally could see that Curly was sick too. Sick with worry. With the captain stuck in bed, the ship was now Curly's to run. But with the Pirate Day party to prepare, half the crew was sick in bed, and the usual pirate ship tasks, Wally guessed Curly was nervous about getting everything done. Wally knew she could do it. The poodle was smart and fierce, and the whole crew trusted her. "Ice," Redbeard wheezed. "Ice! Fresh ice! The blue blanket! I like the blue blanket." Wally ripped the green blanket off the captain's body. Curly tucked him in again, this time with the blue blanket. "Better, better. Red, it's actually the red blanket I like." So can you change it?" Redbeard whined. "Please?" But once he tucked into the red blanket, he didn't like that one either. Next, it was the blue again, then the green, the polka dot, the black, the fleece, the fur, and finally the captain settled on the purple and gold plaid blanket. He took a deep breath and wheezed the breath out. "Party like a pirate day will be ruined," the captain sobbed. "Oh, the best day of the year. Oh, I've waited these 392 days since the last pirate day." "Soon? You mean 365? Curly said gently. "Pirate Day comes around once a year, and that's every 365 days, Captain. As I was saying, I have waited these 365 days for this, and now I'm sick," Redbeard cried. "Sick with sneezies and stomach flu. Oh, what will I do?" "You need not worry," Captain Curly said. "As your trusty mate, I will make sure the ship is ready for a party tomorrow." "Impossible!" Redbeard sneezed. "Achoo!" And he wiped his nose on his blanket, that drippy nose all over his blanket. "One who can do it. I am in charge. Without me, Pirate Day will be ruined, but I'm here to help you." "It's not," Wally yelped. "It won't be ruined." He hated to see the captain so upset. "And Curly, you can do it, and we'll all help her." "Listen to the little pup," Curly told the captain. "I can handle this." The captain's eyes drooped. He was nearly asleep. "Oh. Yep, I promise. You can count on us, Captain." Curly looked to Wally and to the others. They all nodded. We can. "We'll follow your orders and throw the best Pirate Day party ever." Captain Redbeard sighed. "I don't see how that's possible, but you can try." He reached his muzzle under the blanket and grabbed something in his teeth. "Here is my Party Like a Pirate Day top secret code. You can use it to decode my instructions, but please keep it safe. It's the only copy." "Of course," Curly said. "We'll get to work right away." "Arr!" Captain Redbeard cried, and suddenly I have an itch. "Oh, where?" Curly asked, dropping the code sheet to the floor. "Would you like me to scratch it for you before I go?" Redbeard whimpered. "Oh, yes, please scratch it. It's right here upon my ear, the lefty one." Curly used his paw to scratch the captain's ear. After a good long scratch, he hopped off his bed and made his way towards the door. Crew, follow me. We must get to work on the party plans at once. Curly, Redbeard croaked. Please don't go. Stay with me. Stay. What if I need something? Wally stepped forward. Sir, I could stay here and take care of you. Curly has a crew to run and a ship to steer. Ah, Pigly. I would be happy to start working on the party, said Pugly. She shot her sister a sly look. Captain Redbeard burrowed under the covers and whined. But I need Curly. She's my first mate. I must have her by my side. He looked at Curly with his saddest puppy dog eyes. Please. You can run the ship and plan the party from here, Curly sighed. Ah, if you only need me, I'll stay. The captain yawned. Oh, then fell fast asleep. Curly turned to the others. Wally, take the captain's code cracker. Guard it carefully. Guard it with your life. Wally barked. Arr, 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 arr. Aye, aye, substitute Captain Curly. He gently picked up his piece of parchment with his mouth. Then he and Henry and the pugs ran up to the deck. As they ran, Wally barked. Arr, 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 arr. Ahoy, mateys! Ahoy, another pup! And that's when it happened. It happened. The wind came out from nowhere and tugged across the deck. Wally and Henry lunged for it, but another gust of wind pulled up, and it pulled it out of his reach. In a blink of an eye, it floated up, and over the side of the ship. Wally and his friends stared at the ocean, eyes wide. The vast blue sea stretched for miles on every side of the ship. Somewhere among those dark, frothy waves was a piece of parchment. Wally was told not to lose no matter what. It had been an accident. But what would Captain and Curly see? Would they see it that way? Wally didn't think so. Party Like a Pirate Day was ruined, and it was all his fault. Boys and girls, that's it for today. So I can't wait. Next week when we gather, we will talk about crack a code, and I can't wait to find out how Curly and the others on the ship gather together and work as a team to make a good thing happen out of this problem that has arisen. It's just like us in our own current scenario. We always have to search for that good, and we know that our problems can be solved, and if we support one another and stick together, that good things will always come about. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you next time.